Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. This is July 13th. This is our regular Board of Commissioners meeting for the month, and we're excited to have everyone here tonight, and we've got a good agenda ahead of us. So, as always, we start our meeting out with a prayer and a pledge, and tonight Commissioner Green will do the prayer, and Commissioner Gardner will do the pledge. If you will, please rise.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, as we come before you this evening, we come with thankful hearts for all your blessings and your mercies, most of all for forgiveness of sin. We thank you for your Son that died on the cross for our salvation. We pray that you'd help us this evening as we conduct the business for the county and help us to make decisions that are the best and fair for all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the prior minutes?
So moved.
Second. Motion second. Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We hear a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
So moved.
Mr. Whitman, you have something to add?
Yes, sir, I do. Under new business, if you could add item F, and you may want to add it there, but address it while some of the Sheriff's Office staff is here, calling it new sheriff items related to incoming Sheriff Mace. And then under water, I can do it under old business, under item A. I passed out at your desk some fee adjustments I'd like to talk about that were overlooked in the budget process.
I'd like to amend my motion to include what was just presented.
Second.
Yeah.
Motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Moving along now, then let's go to appointments. Item A would be the Human Services update, and we have Miss Sarah Brewer here from the Human Services Director. Sarah, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Ms. Robinson, Mr. Wooten. I hope that everybody's had a good day. I wanted to see if you got the MOU data. Did everybody receive that? Any questions about the MOU data that was sent out this month? Okay. Well, I wanted to talk to you all tonight about something that is becoming more and more of a problem in McDowell County, and that is teen suicide. It is something that is happening more and more, and I just wanted to talk to the commissioners and give you guys some information about what we noticed is happening in our community. So why this matters? It matters because this issue touches us all. Our community is just so close-knit, and with the rate of teen suicide that's been increasing and the attempts of teens to commit suicide has been really heavy with the department and with the other community leaders. Every attempt affects the families, the school system, and our community. And it matters most because it's preventable. And we began to just look at some of these trends and look at some of the information that we were seeing and realize that we could do more as a community to help prevent suicide among teens. So here is some statistics. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in North Carolina youth. That's ages 10 to 18. The first being vehicle accidents. 72 youth ages 10 to 18 died by suicide just in 2023 alone, and about 65% of those were male. These are the statistics that I wanted to bring to your attention. Since April 2024, McDowell DSS has screened 21 reports involving teen suicide attempts. That's alarming to me as the director, because when you look at just that alone, it's concerning. Many of these reports involve teens ages 13 to 16, and that is really young to be facing this type of issue. At least 4 of those teens ended their life, which is an even shocking number. And just recently, every week in the month of June and so far in July, DSS has received at least one report of a teen suicide attempt in McDowell County. And this is when I really began to notice and pay attention. Every week, it was just a different issue that was being brought to our attention, a different report that we got. In these reports, EMS is involved, law enforcement's involved, and it just began to catch our attention at the department as well as the other community leaders. We decided we needed to do something about it. So we have formulated a teen suicide prevention team. We're just getting started in our work to try to put together some resources. I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. But we came together with a common purpose, and that is to see what we can do to prevent teen suicide in McDowell County. We discussed risk factors. What are the factors that make these teens at risk? What are the warning signs that we see or we don't see? And we talked about the cases that we all had in common and what were the factors in all of those cases. We want to be solution focused, and we implemented or going to try to implement some planning strategies in order to prevent this. So the risk factors that we looked at, most of the cases, the youth had access to social media posts that either encourage or glorify suicide. They're at risk because they have access to substances or alcohol maybe. They're at risk because caregivers are just uneducated or unaware about the risks of social media. And one thing that we found is that a lot of these individuals are being raised by maybe grandparents who don't know the risks of the social media accounts that they're using, and they don't know to put those restrictions on there or monitor it very closely. That's something that we paid attention to. Some of the cases that we looked at, the student had identified that they were maybe bullied in different settings. And one commonality was that they had access to firearms, and the firearms were not locked up or properly stored. The warning signs, things that we noticed that could maybe alert someone to something that was going on, was that the students were talking about death maybe on social media, maybe at school, just making a mention of a thought that they had or something that was leading them to feel this way. Some of the youth were withdrawn. We identified that certain families had family struggles. Maybe they had involvement with our department a lot for whatever reason. And then there were social media posts that the students had made that maybe no one paid attention to, or maybe no one flagged it. And so those were some warning signs that we saw when we were looking at this issue. And so some protective factors that we identified to help our work moving forward were that caring adults in someone's life, someone to pay attention and care and put those restrictions on their social media accounts and pay attention to what these students were doing was really important to protect them from being at risk for teen suicide. They were connected to the schools. We pulled the school system in on this project, and they have certain technology to flag students who read certain things on their Chromebooks at school, or look at a site talking about suicide. That's a protective factor. If the student has mental health support or support in the community to help with some of those things that they're dealing with, that was a protective factor. And then the most important thing that we identified was healthy relationships. That's someone maybe from your church, or someone who knows you, or someone in the community who paid attention to what was going on with you, whether you were withdrawn or whether you made a mention of feeling that way. And so that is something that we wanted to focus on. We wanted to focus on moving forward with the protective factors in order to see what we could do. So this is only the beginning of this project. We literally just got started at the beginning of July. So Marion Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, DSS, and the school system, Dr. Britt and Amy Dowder were involved. We realized that we needed to pull in other department heads because this is an issue that they can help support. And so reached out to Will and Adrian. They're going to join us. The Department of Juvenile Justice is also going to be a part of this. Further down the road, we want to expand it to churches and to community partners to come to the table to talk about how we can prevent teen suicide in McDowell County or suicide attempts. We talked about an awareness day every year annually in order to get information out there about teen suicide with the message, save our kids, speak up and reach out, because we felt like if someone in the community paid attention to the problem, if someone in the community read those social media posts or could educate these teens about the risks of what they were thinking or get them help. That is something that we're very, very interested in doing. We also talked about the launch of a social media campaign, and that's where the community comes in. We're going to launch a series of social media posts to prevent teen suicide, or at least try to get the word out there about how to reach out for help or what to do if you're feeling that way. One thing that I realized is that we didn't really collect a lot of data around this information. We didn't collect it at the department, and so we had to go back and kind of look through our information to collect that data. And so just asking the other agencies to pay attention to it and collect that data, so that way we can move forward with some real numbers about those reports that come in, if it's an attempt, or what we need to do about it, what those factors that contributed to that teens thinking that they wanted to commit suicide. We also wanted to implement the utilization of the NC SAFE program. That's a program through Department of Juvenile Justice that we have access to. And what I learned is that they give these locks out, and we have a bunch of them in my office. And so now social workers, when they go out to visit a family, they're taking these with them. This is a simple cable lock. Also, we were able to procure boxes for handguns. There's trigger locks, there's bigger shotgun case locks, and we ordered some of those to give out to families in the community. And the Sheriff's Department is going to help us distribute those to the community. So we're just thinking about different ways that we can get our message out. You're going to be hearing a lot more about it. We're very excited to be able to come to the table and try to help our community in this way. Do you have any questions?
That's an excellent report, as always. You do a wonderful job, sir. We appreciate that, and I think this is a very important issue to move on and act on, and I think I personally would happily want to be involved somehow if I could, if there's any way that I could be of assistance to help out in this. I would certainly welcome that opportunity, and I'm sure some of the others might as well. But anyway, we appreciate you bringing that to us today.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you, and I really like that you, not just because of the youth ministry that I get to work with in the community, but offering churches for help, because honestly, that's where the only hope for this generation is going to come, and that's through Jesus Christ. And dealing with my husband and I have been working with young people in McDowell County 23 years, and they're struggling more now with things than they were 23 years ago. I think social media does play a lot in that, but young people are struggling, and I'm so glad that we have an answer to give them. So I'm thankful that you and want to involve churches in that, and also the gun locks. I serve on the JCPC board, and they gave enough gun locks for everybody at New Manor Christian School to go home with them. So we've actually talked about, could the public schools send them home? Just, I don't know, something you might want to look into. So the school system could help distribute them. That may help get them in the hands of people.
Absolutely.
Okay, anyone else? All right, thank you, Ms. Brewer.
Thank you.
Moving along now, we have a special recognition tonight for our sheriff, and I want to say, as we move forward into this, that we have had a great sheriff for, I know he has served this county as sheriff for, what, is it 8 years, Ricky, is that correct, for the past 8 years?
8.5.
8.5, yeah, okay. So anyway, he's certainly done a wonderful job, and he's got some great staff with him here tonight, and they have worked tirelessly to see to the safety of this community, this county, and we certainly appreciate that. And we have a special something for him tonight. And Madam Clerk, would you? Thank you. We have a resolution that we'd like to present to you tonight, Brother Ricky, and if you would you come to the podium? I'm going to read this and then we'll give you an opportunity to say something. It says, the resolution authorizing the sale of the county-owned property, whereas the county of McDowell owns certain items of personal property that has become surplus for its current needs, and whereas North Carolina General Assembly, General Statute 20-187-2 permits the county to donate the badge worn by the personnel upon their retirement or death and the sale of that sidearm for $1. And whereas Sheriff Ricky Buchanan has requested to receive his service badge and purchase his sidearm for $1 upon his retirement, Glock 43, serial number CACS760. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of McDowell County that the Board of Commissioners authorizes the donation of the service badge and the sale of the sidearm to Sheriff Ricky Buchanan for $1. This resolution shall become effective upon adopted this 13th day of July 2026. Do I hear a motion we approve this?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Let's present this to Ricky and then we will still want to hear from you. Now, if you will, I'd like for you to stay here and all of your staff come up here. We'll go back at the top and get all your staff up here. You stand back here.
Things there, unless you. Just be back. This thing we got kind of side. Sorry. Yeah, you're gonna have to. All right, ready? One more, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
I'd like to give the chance to each one of the commissioners and Mr. Wooten also a chance to say something. But anyway, Ricky, I want to say again, I appreciate your service to this community and this county, and I appreciate your friendship over the years. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Green.
I'd like to say thank you for the times that call from family and you or your team has come out in a very timely fashion. It's not because I was commissioner, because it was a need. And I've heard that many times by many people and greatly appreciate your leadership and what's going on. Thank you. Thank you.
I can recall back in 1997, 98, when I first started with the sheriff's office, you were working in the jail. And very shortly after that, came out on the road. We began to work together. We've seen some things together that we wish we hadn't seen, but we've also been some places where we thought we could be of help. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate the friendship down through the years. I will caution you that retirement is not what most folks think it is. We still have to work, and I know you're going to, but try to stay in touch with folks and I hope that folks stay in touch with you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
My first term and you retire. I'm like, really? Why is everybody retiring my first term? But it has been an honor to work with you, partner with you. You're a tremendously strong leader for your office, and you have fought for your people in rooms that they have not been in, that I have been in. And I know they're very honored to have you as their leader, but I'm telling you all, he has fought for you all in rooms you've not been in, and to be very proud of him and all that he's done. And I do thank you for what you've done for this community, what you've done for many years before I was a commissioner, so I understand you want to retire. But I do thank you so much for your service. I thank you for what you've instilled in the office that you're leaving behind. I know you're leaving in good hands, and so that also makes a great leader. So I do thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Wheaton.
I think Commissioner Garner put the nail on the head there. I've only worked with 2 sheriffs now, soon to be 3. And Sheriff Green had his own way and you have yours, but every agency, office head, department head, I think should advocate for their people, whether that's Mr. Keller, Mr. Brinkley, or definitely a sheriff. And I think, like Ms. Garner said, your staff, I think they understand how much you care about them. But from my perspective, when I've been in rooms with you and breakfast tables and different things at restaurants, talking about your office and your operation, never did I doubt what your motivation was. It was to have the best people that you could to serve the people in McDowell County, and it was for no other reason. And so I think everyone back there understands that, but I definitely saw it firsthand. It was for no other motivation other than have the best and to keep the best. And so I know there's been times this board and administration haven't been able to do everything, but we've come a long way together. So thank you. I know we'll have your retirement the 31st and have more opportunity for some comments there, but just from staff's perspective, we appreciated working with you in the last 8.5 years.
Thank you.
Your turn. Floor is yours, sir.
I'm going to keep it short. You're right. I mean, this has been a tremendous honor serving as the sheriff of McDowell County. But overall, over 30 years in law enforcement, not to mention starting off with the EMS before I was old enough to get into law enforcement. That's what I did for a very short period. But at the end of the day, I'm just the guy that gets their name out there a lot and gets their picture out there a lot. The real heroes to this office is sitting back here. They put their lives on the line every single day, and that's huge for total strangers. And when you sit back and think about that, that I even get to be mentioned in the same breath as they are is an honor. And yeah, I mean, I spent my time running and gunning and, boots on the ground, but here, since, I was fortunate to be the chief deputy for 6 years prior to being the sheriff, and I've had a chance to work with the commission board for a number of years. And like Mr. Wooten said, we may not always get everything we want, which we don't, but you all have a lot of decisions to make, tough decisions. And overall, I want to thank you for the support you've given me throughout these years. I listen to other sheriffs across this state, and the relationship we have is really good. And I appreciate that because that's made my role a lot easier, having the relationship that we've got with this board and the boards prior to this one sitting in front of me right now. Again, in partnerships, that board's a partnership to me. Ashley has been a partner to me, and I appreciate all the work that you've done. You do your job well, and I don't think you get the recognition you deserve at times from the people in this room too that understand or think they understand, but they really don't, your role, and you do an outstanding job. And Allison, you know, when I was scratching my head as the chief deputy, Allison would always, she'd say, just come over here and let's talk. I'd come over here and she'd make me feel all better about it and tell me exactly how it works. And I'd drive back to the office and I'd have no idea what it was she said, how that worked, but I trusted her. And that's huge. So you've got a great staff here with all your administrative folks, but, you know, and the partnerships with Will and, you know, particularly the emergency services, second to none in this state and in this country, as far as I'm concerned. And I just ask you all to continue to support Sheriff-elect Mace. He is going to do an outstanding job. I hope that he's better than I ever thought about being. He's going to do great. He's got the support of the staff, and they're ready to step in and ready to keep going to work and keep moving forward and pushing to make McDowell County safer than it's ever been, and continue to provide the high level of service that we give moving forward. I do ask you to support him. I ask you to continue to, as long as I've got air in my body and that God gives me that, I will always breathe that public safety should be a top priority, whether it's the budget or whether it's in our day-to-day lives. Public safety is a top priority. And without that public safety, nothing else is going to matter. So I ask you to continue to support your law enforcement, your emergency services, to the very best of your ability, whether that's recruitment, retainment, retention, and equipment and things that they need moving forward, because we've got to put that number one so that everything else runs smoothly. Thank you all for, again, most importantly, being a good partner to me and to my office. It's been the absolute highlight of my life to be the sheriff, and I cannot believe that they paid me to do this for these 30 years. I've told a lot of people, and I mean it with everything in me. There's days I'd rather be fishing. There's days I'd rather be hunting, or just looking at your pasture stock up there. There's days I like to take my family on vacation and hang out with them for sure. But I've never dreaded coming to the office one day. In my career at the McDowell County Sheriff's Office, I've never dreaded going to work. And if everybody can find that with whatever they choose to do, man, it'll be great and it'll be awesome. So again, it's the men and women at that Sheriff's Office that deserve all the recognition, not me. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ricky. Okay, now moving on to old business. We've got item A, which will be the county water system project updates, and then the fee adjustment, Mr. Wooten, if you will.
Not as exciting, definitely talk about water lines after something so important, but necessary. I'll jump into the fee adjustment maybe first and then get to the other items. You approved some adjustments to our fee schedule when you adopted the budget. And I've reprinted the page from that that it was specific to water, our water department. There was an omission in the fee schedule as it relates to the commercial, industrial, institutional. I don't know if it was like it was an Excel spreadsheet, if it was hidden cells or what have you. And so the monthly bill that you see there, that was increased. The notice will go out any day now to our customers in Nebo. but which the monthly essentially is for residential, is what it should have been. And moving forward, we'll make sure that's what it shows. The bulk rate, the commercial, the industrial, institutional, those were not adjusted on the base fee. So a base fee is if no one uses water that entire month, that's what that base fee will be. That's helping to pay for the operation system, et cetera. The $7.80 per thousand, that is usage based. So if you're using 1,000 gallons a month, you're going to pay the $7.80 plus the base fee. And so what we're recommending for the bulk rate down through the institutional, where those are currently $25 a month, we would increase those to $35. And that would be consistent with the increase that we had to pass on to the residential. So ask for that action item tonight. Unless there's any questions first.
It's a pleasure, to the board.
Move that we approve the fee increase as presented.
Second.
Motion and second discussion on this. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you. And I'll limit my updates. I mean, you can see the NEBO work. It's mostly starting to get towards the end, and the Providence area, West Marion Elementary. I heard from the engineer that we should have the environmental report turned in to whomever next month, I believe, NCDEQ. But I'll jump back to the interconnection possibility. You authorized staff probably about a month and a half ago or so to initiate some conversations with the town of Old Fort, more specifically about tying into their system and then doing what, kind of to be determined. We talked about an unserved area in the Greenlee community where there's some industry that is currently on wells. There's been some interest there. And talking with the town, they are interested in working with us, but they're also interested in having conversations that include the city of Marion. And so what I'd like and plan to do based on your prior authorization is start very simply with a conversation with the town and city about what our interconnect would look like. And so just for people's understanding, the town has a water line that runs to, it's a little past Curtis Creek Road. And so the idea, in theory, would run a line from there to where the city system ends, which is currently around Greenlee Baptist Church. Why would we do that? For many reasons. In an emergency during Helene, both systems didn't have water for different reasons. The city had issues with their intake on Buck Creek, mostly because of power. The town had the same problem, mostly because of lack of power. So we're not interconnecting and spending millions of dollars of grants just for that. We're looking more cheaply at generators for both the town and the city. Both backup generation systems are in process with FEMA. However, there could be a situation where power notwithstanding, one or the other could need each other. And so the concept we're looking at is where the county has some funding I've talked about before that's been awarded. Hopefully that's enough, but if not, I've had some other conversations with grantors about seeking funding that would be enough to bridge the two systems and to have pumps between the two systems that it could go back and forth. The town has a large aquifer. We don't know exactly how much is there. We have a rough idea. We'd like to maybe do some more research. The city has a little bit around 1.8 million gallons available right now. Could be more when they're working on that. So again, the county's interest, there's funding that we have and the ability to, the three of us sit at a table and maybe work out some of these details. So we're gonna have a very preliminary staff conversation, but very quickly it needs to get to a higher level with elected officials. So that would be very forthcoming. I have spoken informally with an engineer to get some cost data, and so I'll share that with the town and city staff this week. and get a better idea on grants. And maybe next month have a better idea if we need to seek additional funding. So it's very exciting. I think I've used the expression game changer to be able to have them all together, and one can maybe supplement the other in times of drought. It's rained a lot this last couple of days, but it's been very dry, and at least the city is on restriction, so it could help in the future. So.
Yes, this could be a big game changer in the event of another catastrophic storm or whatever that we could have or have had. So, great idea. What's the pleasure of the board on giving the go-ahead on that?
Go ahead and go after the funding for the interconnection and just keep us abreast.
Yes, sir.
Motion, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, Mr. Williams. Let's move on now to the item B, which would be the lease for the county property by McDowell Tech.
Yes, sir. And Dr. Kelly is here, and he said, "Are you talking about that tonight?" And I said, "I am."
We didn't want to embarrass him tonight by saying no.
A little bit of surprise. So you may remember about 3 months ago or so, Dr. Kelly was on the agenda, and it was talking about areas of partnership and cooperation in two areas. One is the county's interest and ability to essentially have a no-cost lease, I think it's $1 a year, with the Ford Miller building on Baldwin Avenue. The idea, and you've approved that lease already, the trustees have not, but that building would be retained by the college as far as ownership. The county would maintain it. You are paying for the maintenance right now, so there shouldn't be any additional costs on that part, of course. But again, the concept has been occupying that with extension and soil and water, freeing up space in our other buildings for readjustment of our staff, and potentially creating some new opportunities for new services in our mental health building. So again, that's been approved pending Board of Trustee approval. What he also spoke about, and I'll talk about now, is your commitment. It's kind of long-standing, but to provide property for public safety training. We are very hopeful to at some point have before you more of a discussion of fire, rescue, et cetera, EMS training grounds. This isn't it. We just don't think we have the right land for that yet. We have looked at the old landfill. There's a lot of environmental regulations with it. And so at least at this point, it doesn't seem like the fire training, et cetera, is going to be able to go there. Haven't completely ruled it out, but it would add greatly to the cost. So we're looking at other publicly owned land currently doing that. What this does involve, Sheriff left, but is a lease for property where we have our public safety firing range, again, near the closed landfill. The idea would be to lease for the college that space. The college would use some funding they've received to improve the grounds. They would build a restroom building, a classroom building, and add more lighting, electricity, and water and septic. The lease document has been reviewed by Dr. Kelly. There might be maybe some tweaks on it from your perspective, but the county attorney has reviewed it. There is a commitment from the county for water service in here for domestic, since the well, you don't want to drill anywhere near a landfill on that side. So we do have some quotes that are reasonable to provide domestic service. We are exploring the idea of trying to get a fire hydrant up near the transfer station, or I'm sorry, the scale house as part of this, but at a minimum we can get domestic water to the site with funding we have. So the lease is ready, and so this, I consider this like a phase one. A phase two could be something in the future with fire and so forth, but we're just not there. So this is ready if you are.
I move that we approve the lease.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wooten.
Thank you.
Now, under new business, item A would be the county operation evaluation process, Mr. Wooten.
Yes, sir. I talked a lot about during the budget process of, we're always on the lookout for things we can do differently or better, more efficiently, more sustainably. And so with that in mind, you saw a little bit of effort, or a lot of effort, when we were able to bring in folks to assist us through our lead fellow, Ms. Montgomery, who's moving on to grad school. When we're able to bring in, especially folks that are very laser focused on something, they can tend to maybe help us out greatly. So with that in mind, and your desire to look at some efficiencies, I'd like to reach out, and I've had a preliminary conversation with the Association of County Commissioners to request a strategic project coordinator, where they're typically out of grad school. And so Ms. Montgomery, for example, was straight out of undergrad. These folks have a little bit more under their belt to request either one part-time or full-time to come in and look at certain things. As you see here, some examples. Contracted services versus utilization of county staff, whether that is mowing or different things. Evaluating our county benefit programs, such as self-insurance, identifying surplus real and personal property, and then evaluating energy efficiency improvements, and then whatever else you might come up with as we work through it. But the good news with the strategic project coordinator program, it's free. The association pays for these folks' salary, and they just have to have a compelling reason to have someone in your community. And so if everyone's okay with it, by consensus or vote either way, I'd like to try to get somebody here to focus on these things.
Need a motion?
I'll take it.
I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and go after a strategic project coordinator.
Full time if you can get them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go for that.
Okay, we have a motion second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Mr. Wooten. Next will be the downtown county property rezoning. Go ahead, Mr. Wooten.
Thank you. This is an effort. I think Mr. Kazee is here. There he is. We've talked a lot about this, and the board and I have talked quite a bit about it. So a little bit of background first. We identified almost exactly a year ago North Carolina Department of Commerce grant that can be used to improve publicly owned buildings in downtown areas. And so spoke to Mr. Brinkley and Mr. Kazee with the Library and Parks and Rec respectively about ideas they might have for pursuing this grant. I even talked to the Commerce staff, could we do a combination? Because, what if they both had great ideas and we could arm wrestle or something, but it worked out where Mr. Brinkley had some work in process with some reserved designated funds. And so we shifted priorities over to Parks and Rec, which we always could go back and forth, perhaps. So Mr. Kazee worked with the Commerce staff, put together an excellent application. They were very complimentary of it, and we were excited. And then we got an email or a phone call or whatever and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, we have to reject your application." Why? We did everything perfectly. At least you told us that. The property is not in the city's downtown overlay area and is not zoned properly. So that property is residential, I think, the recreation center property, and is definitely not the downtown overlay. I have always, since I've been here 20 some years, I've always thought as a recreation center as being downtown, but technically on a map, zoning map, it is not. And so again, I've talked in board meetings with you all, but it's not been on the agenda in the past. about, well, we can request the rezoning and say, I didn't want to get ahead of myself. I did talk to city staff, talked to their planner directly, and then had a meeting last week about it. 2 steps forward and 1 step back. There are some properties in between ours and the nearest properly zoned properties that would also need to be rezoned. The city is very limited in their ability to rezone properties without the property owner's permission, which I think you would kind of agree with, but the property owners in between aren't necessarily on the same page with our thinking. And so what I would ask for at this point is that you at least request of City Council a rezoning of the library and the recreation center property to C1 and for it to be in the downtown overlay, and not to place any more pressure on our neighbors that's not warranted and necessary and welcome, but at least to communicate to them. This is something we want. I did communicate to the city staff at least that if the city council can rezone them, especially the recreation center library, it's not really an issue, without cooperation from others, I think that's what we want too. If they can, they call it spot zoning if you have a gap.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking for the formal request tonight.
Move that we approve submitting the formal request to the city for the rezoning.
Second.
Motion second, discussion.
That would be, are we going to be doing that through spot zoning, or are we just giving them the?
Whatever remains possible, I think.
Okay. I would prefer to try to get stuff like that through spot zoning instead of just strong arming the property owners.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right. Next will be the budget update and approval, Mr. Wooten.
We're on, I guess, day 13 or so, and I have 2 budget amendments already for you. The first one is related to, you approved a reimbursement resolution several weeks ago for incoming garbage truck. And then, as different as you can be as county government for this GF1, GF2 is allows for the designated fund balance to be spent for some additional library repairs, speaking of. So that's all I have under budget.
Make a motion to accept the budget items as listed.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Wooten. Item D would be administrative items for review and approval.
Yes, sir. You have EMS write-offs, quite a number of leak adjustments, and then a follow-up action item on a resolution authorizing formally the opioid settlement fund plan you approved several weeks ago.
Make a motion to accept administrative items as presented.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next would be item E, the property tax releases, refunds, and discoveries. Mr. Wooten.
Thank you. And these are all standard, and got them all broken out, various totals.
Move that we approve the tax matters.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you, Mr. Wooten. Item F, which was the new sheriff items.
Yes, sir. I did speak with incoming Sheriff Mace earlier today just to make sure we're on the same page. So as we all know, Sheriff Buchanan will retire essentially at midnight on the 31st. According to statute 162-5.1, Chief Deputy Mace, he will assume the powers and responsibilities as sheriff at that point. He will not be sheriff, to be all very technical. He'll still be chief deputy at that time, but more or less he'll be acting as sheriff. And as you know, and the public may or may not understand, in this county and the majority, I think now, the executive committee of the office holders political party advances the nomination that you shall accept is the language. It says shall. It doesn't say you might, it says you shall. And so we have received that nomination, and all that will be dealt with that was, sounds horrible, but we'll ask for the appointment in August when it's appropriate time. Since there will be, and so that date of appointment, because of people being out of the office and town and things, we're asking for that appointment to be in a special meeting on Monday, August 10th at 8 a.m. And if we can at least have a majority here for that to formally appoint him, then he could be sworn in, and then he would have a meeting elsewhere with his staff, because then the staff are resworn at that point. But until that time, so between midnight on the 31st and the 10th, again, he will be acting, he'll be chief deputy acting as sheriff, but we would like to make sure he is bonded in that time period, and so would ask that you approve his bond at the statutory maximum of $25,000 effective August 1st.
Move that we approve the sheriff's bond as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wooten. Move on now to citizen comments. We don't have any. Okay. Commissioner reports to staff. I think Mr. Ellis had something.
Yes, I want to bring the issue of data centers to staff so that they can get with the planning board due to the power consumption, due to the noise, and due to the water consumption that's required, and see what kind of guidance the planning board would like to give us. The personal basis, I would not want a data center to be my neighbor, and I'm just wanting to be fair to everybody in McDowell County. If the planning board comes back with something, if they buy 500 acres and puts it in the middle of 500 acres, then that would be a possibility, but due to the constraints of the power system and noise, pollution, and water consumption, it would be best to see what they could come up with. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I've got some property in Buncombe County. I'd like to sell them for that.
Yeah. Also, second note, we have decided.
Could that be in the form of a motion?
I'd like to make that a motion.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Second issue, the board has decided to send to the state to get a sales tax increase of 1/4%. I'd like to ask staff to make sure that Jake Johnson, Dudley Green, and Warren Daniels are aware and to try to get their support of it. Also, on the same matter, asking staff to advise of the potential usage of percentage that could go to the school system, that could go to the college, and remainder going to waste cost control. It's not going to be the full coverage, we realize that, but we're asking for staff to give us some direction. Been getting some questions in the public, and the only thing that I can say at this time, or we can say at this time, is of what we have voted on. If it passes, the sales tax will go up 1/4%, which is $2.50 per thousand. And if that passes, the property tax would decrease to a penny, which is approximately $650,000 countywide. And how are we going to use it? We have not voted on a percentage, and we're looking for staff to give us how we would like to do that.
Sure.
So do I need to make that a motion?
I don't think so. I think on that one, that's pretty clear.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I got.
Okay. Anyone else have anything?
I did put in your communication, I made a presumption that you might be okay with it by scheduling Ms. Brewer would you feel comfortable as an entire board to talk to Mr. Brown about canceling next week's meeting?
It's fine with me.
Good, okay. All right, then that's canceled. All right, anyone else have anything?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.